that are collected in India. In sources, please write central government, state government, and local bodies. Central government, state government, and local bodies. And in after writing that, write types of taxes. Types of taxes में लिखिए first taxes which are collected by the center and appropriated by the center. Taxes which are collected by the center and appropriated by the center. Collected by the center, appropriated by the center, meaning the tax which is actually collected by the central government and it is spent also by the central government. So appropriation means spending. So एक तरीके का टैक्स है जो कुछ तरीके के taxes हैं which are actually collected by the center and appropriated by the center only. Second type, the taxes which are collected by the center but shared between center and state. But shared between center and state. Taxes which are collected by the center but shared between center and state. Third type, okay. Third type, the taxes which are collected by the state and appropriated by the state. Taxes which are collected by the state and appropriated by the state. So three kind of taxes. Okay, got that? Now let me give you an example. The first kind of a tax in which the tax is collected by the center and appropriated by the center. The example could be like custom duty, like excise duty. Custom duty, excise duty, I'll give you a definition in a while. But these are the taxes that are collected by the center and appropriated by the center. They don't share it with anyone. Then the second type, in which the center is the one who is collecting the tax, but it is sharing with the tax with the state government, is income tax. A very good example is income tax. Income tax is collected by the center. Period. But it is actually shared between the center and the state. Percentage decided होती है by the finance commission, and as a result, there is a portion is also given to various states depending upon the criteria decided by the finance commission. The third type of a tax is, let's for example, state. State is collecting the taxes, for example, entertainment tax. Entertainment tax is the tax that is collected by the state and appropriated by the state. So, but of course, there is a discrepancy. In fact, there is a disbalance between the collection of the taxes and the appropriation, because center has more power to collect the tax. They do have more taxes at their disposal, whereas state do not have that many taxes and which they can collect. But of course, they have a lot of responsibilities in terms of finance, which they keep on asking center to actually give them a share or increase their share. So this particular division of finance is generally done on the basis of the recommendation that comes through Finance Commission. Finance Commission is a statutory body. Statutory body meaning it is mentioned in the Constitution of India that there will be a Finance Commission. Article 380 of the Constitution states, 370 states that there will be a Finance Commission. So there is a Finance Commission which actually divides the taxes between the center and the state. Having said all this, you will have to write first the taxes because there are different types of, as I said, sources. So first we will discuss about the taxes that are collected by the center. The taxes which are collected by the center can be divided further into two parts. There is a tax revenue and then there is a non-tax revenue. So write it down. The two main sources of government revenue in India. two main sources of government revenue in India. Two main sources of government revenue in India is union excise tax revenue and non-tax revenue. These are the two main sources of government revenue in India: tax revenue and non-tax revenue. Tax revenue and non-tax revenue. So, okay, tax revenue and non-tax revenue. Let's divide this. A, tax revenue. अब इसके अंडर में जितने भी taxes आते हैं, that's what you're going to mention. So first we will take up tax revenue. Tax revenue में पहला tax आता है union excise duties. Union excise duties. Anybody can fill me in, fill all us in. What do you mean by excise duty? Anybody want to take the chance? What do you mean by excise duty? Anybody has an idea? Well, nobody has an idea what is an excise duty. How is this possible? Chalo, please go. Okay, tax on the manufacturing of the good. Yes, Anupriya, what were you saying? Tax from export and import. Okay, export and import is a different thing. Excise duty means, yes, beta, go ahead. Mhm. Manufacturing goods within the country. Okay, that's nice. Manufacturing is a first stage of goods. Actually, tax levied on commodities used. See, if you will say manufacturing, then we don't know that at what stage the good you are talking about. Like the good is actually at the three stage. It can be a raw material, it can be an intermediate good, and it can be a final good also. So you have to be very clear that the union excise duty is not only levied on manufacturing. But it is actually levied on the commodities that are produced within the country. So please write the definition of union excise duty. Uh, it is first rise. It is the leading source of revenue for the central government. It is the leading source of revenue from for the central government. सबसे ज़्यादा पैसा इसी से आता है. Major chunk of the share of the tax collected by the center comes from union excise duty. So, leading source of revenue for the central government, and are levied on commodities produced within the country, and are levied on commodities produced within the country, and are levied on commodities produced within the country. So commodities, not manufacturing. Manufacturing is a stage. So you have to understand whether you are talking about a stage or a phase or a commodity. So levied on commodities produced within the country, but excluding those commodities on which state excise is levied. But excluding those commodities on which, but excluding those commodities on which, but excluding those commodities on which the state excise is levied. For example, bracket में लिखिए liquors and narcotic drugs. लिकर और नारकोटिक ड्रग पे स्टेट लेवाई करता है, तो उस पे वो सेंटर नहीं लेवाई करता. So even excise duty, there is a difference in the item. Who can levy a tax on which item? So it seems that excluding those commodities on which state excise is levied, bracket में लिखिएगा liquor and narcotic drugs. Apart from narcotic drugs, इसमें एग्जाम्पल्स लिख लीजिए. सेंटर के पास जो है आइटम्स, these are the center items. They are levied on. Yes, beta. You want to say something? Okay. But excluding those commodities on which state excise is levied. but excluding those commodities on which state excise is levied or levied. Liquor, ब्रैकेट में लिख लीजिएगा, liquor and narcotic drugs. Liquor and narcotic drugs. The most important commodities from the revenue point of view are, the most important commodities from the revenue point of view are, अब ये सब सेंटर के पास है, are sugar, cotton, tobacco. इसलिए टोबैको कभी बंद नहीं हो सकता इस कंट्री में. इट्स अ मेजर सोर्स ऑफ रेवेन्यू. So sugar, cotton, tobacco, matches, and cement. These are all the sources of union excise duties items. Okay? Written? Okay. The most important commodities. What's your name? Nisha? Divya. Okay. The most important commodities from the revenue point of view are sugar, tobacco, matches, cement, cotton mill cloth. ये सब ऐड कर लीजिए इसमें. Cotton mill cloth. You will have to be a little bit faster, Betaji. I need to take the class. You've got that? Sugar, cotton mill cloth, tobacco, matches, and cement. Okay. Custom duties, next tax, again will come under the heading of tax revenue only. Custom duty, as we have already discussed, includes both import and export duties. So, isko mein likh lijiye. Custom duties include both import and export duties. Custom duties include both import and export duties, and is the second most important source of revenue for the central government. And is the second most important source of revenue for the central government. Second most important source of revenue for the central government. Moving on, third type under tax revenue is income tax. It is levied on the income of individual. It is levied on the income of the individual. It is levied on the income of the individual. Hindu undivided families. Hindu undivided families. Hindu undivided families and unregistered firms. And unregistered firms. And unregistered firms. So तीन लोगों पे levied है, or rather the three bunch income of individual, Hindu undivided family and unregistered firm. Hindu undivided family term का मतलब होता है it's a family which consists of all previous, you don't need to write this is just for your information, of all persons linearly descended from a common ancestor, जिनका common ancestor है and include their wives and unmarried daughters. ये constitution में mentioned term है Hindu undivided family. So automatically the people who are living in a family system comes under the heading of the Hindu undivided family. And उसी के हिसाब से फिर उनके rights हैं. और तीसरा आपने लिखा होगा unregistered firms. Okay, did you got that? Okay. Corporation tax. Next tax is a corporation tax. Corporation tax, the income tax on the net profit. Corporation tax is the income tax on the net profit. It's income tax on the net profit of joint stock companies. Income tax on the net profit of joint stock companies is called corporation tax. The income tax on the net profit of joint stock companies is called corporation tax. So, corporation tax is a tax on the income of the joint stock companies. Income tax is a tax also on income, but the difference is that it is on the individual's income, on the Hindu undivided family and unregistered firms. That's the major difference between the two. Then there is a wealth tax. Wealth tax. It's an annual tax on the net wealth of individuals. It is an annual tax on the net wealth, annual tax on the net wealth of individuals. Net on the net wealth of individuals, and again you can write HUF, that is Hindu undivided family, okay, and Hindu undivided families. There is a one more line written in it which you can add. It's a progressive tax. Wealth tax is a progressive tax. Do you know what is a progressive tax? Then the rate of a tax increases as the person's income increases. So wealth tax is a progressive tax. Uh, the next tax that comes under the heading of tax revenue is capital gain tax. CGT, that is the capital gain tax. It is applicable to capital gains. It is applicable to capital gains resulting from the sale, exchange, or transfer of capital assets. It is applicable to capital gains resulting. It is applicable to capital gains resulting from the sale, exchange, or transfer of capital assets. Either you're selling some capital asset, or you are exchanging, or you are transferring, whatever. It's a capital. CGT is actually a tax on the capital assets. Then there is one more tax, and which come under the ambit of tax revenue. That's known as tax on foreign travel. These taxes are not necessary that the government has actually, let's say, are collecting money on that, or have levied it. So some of the taxes have been also withdrawn from time and time again. Like wealth tax, government keep on fluctuating on that. Even the gift tax is there. So it depends which budget brings in what taxes. But some of the taxes are permanent, of course, like excise duty, custom duty, income tax. Can't do without it. So tax on foreign travel, इस पे भी tax है. Another new tax levied on foreign travel for conserving foreign exchange. Because when you travel abroad, what happens is you need a currency of that particular country. Generally, if you are going to USA, you will be needing dollar, and if you are going to London, you will be needing the pound. So the government don't want to give out that foreign exchange, that precious foreign exchange. So there is a tax to discourage people to travel. There is a tax levied on foreign travel for conserving foreign exchange. Tax on foreign travel. Uh, Tax levied on foreign travel for conserving. Tax levied on foreign travel for conserving foreign exchange. For conserving foreign exchange, as well as to raise revenue. As well as to raise revenue. Got that? Tax levied on foreign travel for conserving foreign exchange as well as to raise revenue. Now we will come under the ambit of non-tax revenue. So put the bullet, or B, you can write B, like A can be tax revenue and B can be non-tax revenue. So write non-tax revenue, and under its ambit comes interest receipts. First is interest receipts. See, these are the taxes which you are not very familiar with. So write very, don't make a mistake in this one. Interest receipts. This largest non-tax source of central government, this largest non-tax source of central government, this largest non-tax source of central government, revenue receipts, is the interest it earns, is the interest it earns mainly on the loans. It's the interest it earns mainly on the loans it has advanced to state governments. It has advanced to state governments. Comma, to financial and industrial enterprises in the public sector. To financial and industrial enterprises in the public sector. So this largest, I'm repeating it, interest receipts, this largest non-tax source of central government, revenue receipts, is the interest it earns mainly on the loans it has advanced to state governments, to financial and industrial enterprises in the public sector. So जो लोन दिया जाता है स्टेट गवर्नमेंट को by the center, उस पे जो इंटरेस्ट मिलेगा, that is included under this, and of course to financial and industrial enterprises in the public sector. This is the first non-tax revenue known as interest receipts. Second is surplus profit of the Reserve Bank of India. Surplus profits of the RBI. The surplus profit of the RBI, the surplus profit of the RBI is also a part of the revenue of the central government. The surplus profit of the RBI is also a part of the revenue of the central government. The surplus profit of the RBI is also a part of the revenue of the central government. In recent years, these have been quite substantial. In recent years, these have been quite substantial. In recent years, these have been quite substantial because of the large borrowing by the government. Because of the large borrowing by the government from the RBI against treasury bills, against treasury bills against treasury bills for financing the 5-year plans. For financing the 5-year plans. For financing the plans लिख लीजिएगा. There is no 5 year here. Okay. After substantial, because of the large borrowing by the government, because of the large borrowing by the government from the RBI against treasury bills, because of the large borrowing by the government from the RBI against treasury bills for financing the 5 year plans. For financing the 5 year plans. So these are the surplus profit of the RBI. Next, I'm not getting into treasury bill and all that, but if you want to know what is a treasury bill, don't write this, but this is just for your information. There are zero coupon securities actually issued by the government. होता क्या है कि जब गवर्नमेंट आरबीआई से लोन लेती है तो उसके बदले में उसको एक सिक्योरिटी देनी होती है that we'll be taking a loan for this period and we'll be returning it. तो उसको कहते हैं टी बिल या ट्रेजरी बिल. इट्स अ सिक्योरिटी it's a security coupon and it actually pays no interest. But government has decided that it will be of three duration mainly या tenure होता है उसका. एक है 91 डे ट्रेजरी बिल है, एक 182 है और एक 364 है. इस समय गवर्नमेंट है बहुत शॉर्ट टर्म बिल्स होते हैं. ये गवर्नमेंट पैसा उठाती है और जहाँ पे उसको लगाना होता है they spend it, but they take it from RBI. This is a serious source of uh, discontent between the two, that is the government and the RBI, because RBI do not want to let relentlessly to governments because government do a lot of wasteful expenditure also. Now, having said that, the RBI has put a curb on this government lending, and as a result, the earlier the tenure used to be for three duration. As I said, 91 days, 182, and 364. Now it's just for 364. They have done away with 91 and 182. Anyway, these are just the short-term instruments issued by the government to the RBI that they'll be returning money after this duration. This is known as T-bill or treasury bill. Now, the problem with the treasury bill, as I said, this is the government actually keeps on, making a habit of asking RBI to give on their surplus. So, उसमें ही उन्होंने tax लगा रखा है. So, government have an eye on every revenue and every source जहाँ से भी पैसा मिल सके. Next is currency, coinage, and mint. Currency, coinage, and mint. This is another source come under the heading non-tax revenue. Currency, coinage की spelling लिखिएगा COINAGE and mint. I will ask you mint, MINT. Do you know what is a mint? Girls, what is a mint? Sorry, coin making? How many denomination of money exist in your country? How many is actually, prevailing right now? Tell me the denominations in terms of paper currency. Denomination of the notes circulating in the economy. I'm waiting. It's not that complicated. You spend it every day. कितने रुपए के नोट चलते हैं आपके उसमें इकोनॉमी में सर्कुलेशन में कितना है पैसा कौन कौन सा नोट है उसका डिनोमिनेशन बताइए हाँ 5 हाँ ठीक अच्छा इसमें बताइए 1 रुपए का नोट चलता है अभी नोट पूछ रही हूँ इट एग्जिस्ट इट्स इन सर्कुलेशन ओके अब कॉइन बताइए हाँ, डिनोमिनेशन बताइए। ये वन क्या है? One rupee. That's what you're saying? Okay, 1 rupee, then 2 rupee, then 10 rupees. Okay, fair enough. Uh, uh, कुछ idea है who issue this currency? I'm asking issuing. Issuing authority कौन है इस currency की? Okay. Apart from 1 rupee note, RBI issue all the currency. Now, who mint the currency? There are two different agencies. One agency, as you said, is the RBI, who is issuing the currency. In आपने देखा होगा RBI गवर्नर का नोट लिखा होता है नोट पे, like I will be giving the धारक को or the person who owns this, I'll be giving 100 rupee, या उसकी purchasing value 100 होगी, ये उसका मतलब होता है। RBI गवर्नर का नीचे साइन होता है, उसमें मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ फाइनेंस का साइन नहीं होता है, या फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर का साइन नहीं होता, RBI गवर्नर का साइन होता है। I'm asking another question now. Who mint the currency in a country? Okay, thank you. Now you have to understand, and hence the word that is written over here is currency, coinage, and mint. Currency, coinage, and mint are the three different things altogether. Mint, as she said, is actually run by the Indian government. There are 4 mints existing in your country which mint the money. By minting means printing the money, and as well as the coins. One is in Mumbai, the another one is Kolkata, then there is in Hyderabad, then it's in Noida. So there are four kind of a four places where this minting is happening. Uh, so you have to, acha, एक चीज और, there is a difference between the face value and intrinsic value of your currency. Can you tell me what does that mean? There is a difference between the face value and intrinsic value of your currency. What does that mean? Yes, sir. Intrinsic value is the material used in it. So is it same in India? Is the face value and intrinsic value same? No, the face value and intrinsic value is not same. Can you tell me the reason why we don't have a face value and intrinsic value same? What's the reason behind? जैसे कि पुराने जमाने में सोने के सिक्के चलते थे, तो सोने के सिक्के अगर 10 रुपए के फॉर एग्जाम्पल होंगे तो उसमें 10 रुपए का सोना लगा होगा, तो दैट विल बी अ फेस वैल्यू, दैट वाज द सिचुएशन व्हेन फेस वैल्यू वाज इक्वल टू इंट्रिंसिक वैल्यू। बट अब सडनली हम लोगों ने इधर आफ्टर द लेट्स से 19th century there is a shift, and now we are minting money that has more face value as compared to intrinsic value. Why? So that, yes beta, प्रॉफिट आउट ऑफ इट नहीं है, एक्चुअली प्रॉब्लम ये है कि एवरी करेंसी इज बैक्ड बाय द treasury. That is treasury which contains the foreign currency. The treasury is made of foreign currency. That is a basket of currencies जिसकी बहुत अच्छी value होती है. It consists of 8 to 9 currencies ranging from US dollar to pound to euro to yen to Hong Kong dollar and all that. You should have your currency should be backed by that plus SDR, that is the special drawing rights given by the IMF. SDR is a kind of a currency which is used by the IMF. Like you use note, IMF use SDRs. That's a unit of their currency. So and of course gold. So these are the things that backs your currency. That's why your currency has a value. Otherwise, it is nothing but a piece of a paper, which Mr. Modi has shown you by doing the demonetization. You did realize that the moment the government took away its authority, what happened? That thing became a simple a piece of paper. No, there was no authenticity on the 500 note. Nobody was ready to take it. So hence, every currency is backed by these things. As you know that now the governments do not have that kind of a gold and that kind of a foreign currency to back it. Hence, they decided that whatever they will mint, it will have more face value as compared to intrinsic value. And then there are two reasons for that also. Earlier there used to be an existence of a proportional reserve system. These are the reserve system which backs your currency. Proportional reserve system meant 60-40 ratio, which means that we are going to circulate 60% of the currency, and 40% of that particular currency will be backed by these things. So 60-40 ratio ka ratio rakhenge. That was known as proportional reserve system. But then government even did away with that. उनको लगा कि 40% रखना भी बहुत मुश्किल है यार, क्योंकि बहुत डेफिसिट में जाती है सरकार हमेशा हमेशा बजट आपने देखा होगा huge deficits. So the government realizes that, and then they switched to, instead of proportional reserve system, they switched to minimum reserve system. They said let's decide this, हम एक minimum reserve रखेंगे, back करेंगे currency को minimum reserve से. तो उसमें होता क्या है कि they said let's decide to the amount of 200 crore. So it is a 200 crore, which the government keeps 150 crore in the form of SDRs, and as I said, and the rest 50 crores is kept in the form of a gold. So अब जो आपकी country में चलता है at present in India, this has started in 1970s actually, in fact 74. Now you live under the system of minimum reserve system, and that is why your currency do not hold much value because it is backed by minimum reserve. तो इसलिए है आप देखिए कि और भी दूसरे रीजन से रुपी वीक है, लेकिन एक ये रीजन तो है ही, इट इज नॉट बैक्ड बाय, बट दूसरी कंट्रीज का ऐसा नहीं है. दे आर बैक, सम कंट्रीज एक्चुअली फॉलो सिस्टम्स ऑफ लाइक जितना हम करेंसी मिंट करेंगे, जितना सर्कुलेशन में लाएंगे, उतना गोल्ड से बैक करेंगे. गोल्ड अब उतना रिजर्व भी नहीं है, इतना अवेलेबल भी नहीं है, तो पीपल स्टार्टेड बैकिंग अप विद एज आई सेड फॉरेन करेंसी. तो फॉरेन इसलिए करेंसी बहुत प्रेशियस होती है कंट्री के लिए. So these are the systems in which you live when it comes to money, and hence current someone is issuing, someone else is minting, उस पे भी टैक्स है. तो करेंसी, coinage and mint लिख लीजिए. The government also derives income. The government also derives income. The government also derives income from running the currency note printing presses. From running the currency note printing presses. प्रेस मतलब जहां नोट छपेगा. Moreover, profits are made from the circulation of coin भी है. Profits are made from the circulation of coin. Our profit, as she said, that is mainly because there is a difference between the face value and intrinsic value. तो जितना ज़्यादा difference उतना ज़्यादा profit. So profit are made from the circulation of coin. इसलिए आप लोगों ने देखा होगा कि जो नए notes आए हैं, which you like 200 का आया, 100 का आया, they not only have very weird colors, but their quality is also not very nice. Earlier the note had a much shelf life as compared to this note. अभी जो circulation में चल रहा है उसकी shelf life बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं है, because velocity of circulation ruins the note already. The velocity of circulation is a phenomenon in which the number of times the note change hand in the economy. तो उससे नोट का वियर एंड टीयर होता है. नंबर ऑफ टाइम नोट चेंज हैंड जितनी बार भी है आपकी कंट्री में, 200 का नोट, 100 का नोट की क्वालिटी इतनी खराब है दैट वेलोसिटी ऑफ सर्कुलेशन ruins it. Earlier it was way better. So anyway, करेंसी क्वाइनेज एंड मिंट पे भी गवर्नमेंट रेवेन्यू मिलता है गवर्नमेंट को. So these are the things. I think Mansi, the time is over. Yeah. All right. Okay. I will just add railways to that, and then we will end the class. Add railways. The railways in India are owned and run by the government of India. The railways in India are owned and run by government of India. ये तो सबको पता ही है. Accordingly, they pay a fixed dividend to central revenue. The railways in India are owned and run by government of India. Accordingly, they pay a fixed dividend to general revenue, that is to the central government. on the capital invested in the railways. On the capital invested in the railways. Okay. So the tax also comes from railways. We are just left with one more. That I'll take up in the next class. So that's that for tax revenue and non-tax revenue. Once I'll start with the next class, I will start with the budget. So no, I will have to deal with the state अभी. I'll give you a state. एक काम करिएगा, गूगल पे जाइएगा and just read the 3 lists that exist. एक कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के जो होता है उसके एंड में 3 लिस्ट दी हुई है जिसपे कि टैक्सेस लगते हैं. देयर इज अ सेंट्रल लिस्ट, देयर इज अ स्टेट लिस्ट एंड देन देयर इज अ कॉन्करेंट लिस्ट. आई होप यू ऑल नो दैट. सो कॉन्करेंट लिस्ट को देखिएगा. Yes, I'm more interested in concurrent list rather than center and state. Center and state list are very very clear, but the concurrent list is a mix of that when both can actually uh, levy taxes on the items. उसको थोड़ा सा पढ़ लीजिएगा. तो और GST को let's we will discuss that in the next class. Thank you girls for joining.